When you initially begin teaching settle on the mat, first place a mat or towel down on the floor for your dog, and then begin calmly placing treats one at a time in one corner of the mat. Your goal is to place the treat in roughly the same space. After your dog has successfully eaten 5 to 10 treats, pause and wait for your dog to look down at the mat. Once they begin sniffing for another treat, you can go ahead and place an additional one. This is going to teach your dog to relax while sniffing because sniffing is a naturally calming behavior, and we're encouraging it by getting your dog to look for the treats on the mat. Your goal is to remain calm and take lots of deep breaths as you go. You are going to repeat dropping treats on the mat one at a time in the corner, nice and calmly, for as many sessions as it takes for your dog to offer a sit or a down on their own. For some dogs, this happens the first session. For some dogs, this happens session 5 or 6. Morris has just sat or laid down on the mat for the first time, so I'm going to drop several treats for him. It's called a jackpot, so that he knows what he did was correct. As long as he remains seated, I'm going to go back to just calmly placing treats on the mat directly in front of him. My end goal is for him to lay down with one of his hips flipped over so he's nice and relaxed. At this point, he had just laid down, and then when I reached for treats, he got up. No problem. We're just going to go back to calmly placing treats on the mat one at a time until he lays down again. Good. There's that hip flip. So once you get that nice calm hip flip, you're just going to go to placing treats one at a time calmly between their front legs. This will encourage them to stay on the mat and remain nice and relaxed. That time he didn't get up when I moved to get the treats, but he did roll his hip out from under him. That's okay. I'm just going to go back to placing treats nice and calm. Once I notice that he is starting to move his head back towards the mat, initiating sniffing, I'm going to go ahead and start placing treats to get his head down. When we're ready to take a break, I'm going to give him a release cue, such as okay, and toss the treat away from the mat. When I'm ready for him to get back on the mat, I'm going to start placing treats again, and we'll start the process over. You may need to repeat this process for several training sessions before your dog starts to lay down every time you ask them to go to the mat. That's okay. Your primary focus is less more of a formal obedience with laying on the mat and more teaching them how to actually physically relax their body. It's less important that you get a perfect down every time, and far more important that they actually start to focus and take slow, calm breaths and choose to lay on the mat in a comfortable position on their own. There's that beautiful hip flip again that we were looking for. Morris is looking much calmer than he did when we initially began the session, which is my primary focus. Again, doesn't matter to me the basic obedience. I'm just looking for him to be nice and relaxed. So your primary focus is moving slowly and calmly, placing treats in a consistent spot, and letting your dog choose to lay down or sit on their own as a way to tell you that they are nice and calm. When you're done, pick up the mat and have a great day.